Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Rock the New Year, Trends to Take Advantage of in 2013. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency best known for our search engine optimization, best-in-class customer service, and our award-winning websites. DealerOn was named the top-rated website provider by Driving Sales for 2011, and DealerOn customers were winners of the Spring and Fall 2012 Digital Dealer Website Excellence Awards, including the highly coveted overall winner. DealerOn is so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that we're the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. That's right, I said leads guaranteed. So if your website company isn't guaranteeing you leads, well then maybe you should check us out at DealerOn.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We are very pleased to have David Kain as our presenter today. David Kain is president of KainAutomotive.com, an award-winning training and consulting company that specializes in automotive internet sales, BDCs, digital marketing, and social media with a focus on improving dealership sales and profits. Notably, Kain Automotive was voted Best Internet Sales Training Company for the last 5 years in a row in the Dealer's Choice Awards by Auto Dealer Monthly magazine. David Kain has 20 years of extensive automotive retail experience and also co-founded FordDirect.com, a dealer factory-owned joint venture that provides the internet leads to Ford and Lincoln dealers. David is an active speaker at many industry events, including NADA conventions, state association workshops, digital dealer conferences, and manufacturer training conferences, as well as numerous 20 groups. And he can be reached at david@kainautomotive.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of today's webinar recording is also going to be emailed to you later today for your reference, so please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at Kain Automotive are offering up a fantastic prize today for one lucky attendee. What is it? Well, one lucky participant is going to win a 3-month membership to the Kain Automotive online training classroom. The classroom hasn't launched yet. It's going to launch mid-January with a selection of fundamental and advanced strategies and tactics for improving your internet and BDC operations. So how much is it worth? It's priceless, baby. All you have to do is stay tuned and answer a simple question toward the end of today's presentation. The first one to write in the correct answer is going to be winning this awesome prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. Please fill it out because we're always looking for great feedback from you, our valued audience. And today we're going to randomly select some winners from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So let's get started. Let's learn how to rock the new year. David Kain, thank you so much for being with us today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Eliana. It's a rainy day here in downtown Lexington, Kentucky, so it's nice to be warmed up by a good webinar.
I agree. And I want you to know, I want to thank you in advance for agreeing to end the year out strong for us here at DealerOn and agreeing to do the very last webinar of 2012. We're very, very pleased to have you here today. And, you know, seeing as how the world's going to end tomorrow, I couldn't think of a better way to spend my last day on this earth than listening to you and your automotive brilliance. So what are we going to be learning about today?
Well, given that prognosis that since 2013 may not arrive, these are simply guesses on my part. We'll try to do better, and we'll try to be more optimistic with that diagnosis. What's great about getting an opportunity to project trends is, I think anytime you look at the automotive industry, and particularly with respect to the internet, one thing's for sure is it's very dynamic, and there's always going to be something unique or different that comes up. So what I'm going to do is focus on the things that I know of, and then maybe during some of the Q&A people can come up with some ideas that they've thought of that would be really interesting. So The objectives today are to introduce trends that are definitely growing, perhaps identify some lesser known trends and try to give them a boost in the dealer network, and then through the Q&A help you select the best trends for you to back in 2013, and of course we'll have a nice Q&A session at the end.
Yes,
so
and I want to
just... The first thing I'd like to...
Oh, I was going to say, I just want to warn everyone that's out there on the webinar now, he is going to be hitting like 100 things today, so pay close attention. It is being recorded, but it's going to be rapid fire, the amount of information that's going to hit you in the next hour. So I'm warning you now. All right, take it away, David. I can't wait to hear all this stuff.
Excellent. Very good. So the first thing is a real obvious one, and that's to be more mobile. When you consider the dynamics of the marketplace and how many users are actually on mobile sites, I remember looking back a couple of years ago, and some of our clients were first starting to use mobile websites, and their focus at that point was to try to have something that was a safety net just in case people did go online. And now what we're seeing is a concept that's pretty natural. We may not have all the QR code activity, but we certainly have showrooming, which is essentially customers sitting in your showroom on their iPhones, on their tablets, checking your pricing, looking at your inventory, comparing you to your competition right there while you're over at the desk trying to get them the very best deal. So mobile is really, really much needed by consumers, but I think it's much needed by salespeople. And when you consider the statistics on the screen, 36% of email is opened on a mobile device, and that actually may be low in some marketplaces. There's a great study that was recently co-sponsored by XAD and Telmetrics, and it said of automotive shoppers who were using mobile devices, 49% of mobile users would buy within 24 hours, and best of all, 36% would purchase within an hour. So that really changes the dynamic when you consider the fact that when a lot of the manufacturers first started coming out with training on the internet, they would say you need to respond on the first day. Then it narrowed down to 12 hours, then dropped to 6. Clearly, dealers who are leading the pack and those who are being very, very conscious of the consumer out there, particularly the mobile consumer, they're really concentrating on responding immediately. So 5 minutes may even be too long in so many cases. So I really want to project that the first trend that I think we need to look for is this tablet-enabled salesperson. And if you can imagine the fact that back in the old days, we used to walk out onto the lot with a folded-up list of inventory so that we could walk around and talk to our customers and be able to give them the most up-to-date information that was printed a week ago. Well, with tablet devices, we now have the capacity to where we can have all that information right there at our fingertips. I really do believe it adds credibility to the consumer. And I don't think it'll be long before we see screens like this popping up in dealerships to where salespeople, when they come in and take a job at the dealership, they're handed their iPad or a similar tablet, and they're told, here's how we're going to work the deal. So click here if the customer wants to purchase, if you want to generate a buyer's order, and obviously there's a lot that can come with this as we move forward down the line with mobile devices. So that brings us to our first poll question. If you can assist me here, Ileana, I'd like to make sure that everybody's paying attention real quick in the presentation, so if we could throw that first poll question up, please.
I'll certainly do that for you, David. Okay, everyone out there, if you could please look at your screen, we're going to take a poll. So are you currently using a tablet device to assist your customers while in the showroom? So this is a very simple question. It's either a yes or no. And once we have a majority of the votes, we're going to close the poll and share the results. And I have to say, David, I think the last time I went into a showroom, I don't remember them using tablets. So I'm interested to see how today's audience is going to respond. And actually, you guys are great. I love that you guys voted so fast. So thank you so much. We're going to close the poll and share the results. David, today, 63% of today's audience said no, they're not currently using a tablet device, but 37% of today's audience said yes, they are.
Excellent. Well, that's a pretty dramatic growth trend. We asked that question last year to an audience, and it was more like 5%.
Wow.
So I think just the omnipresence of tablets and the ability to link into websites and mobile-friendly sites like companies like DealerOn provide, I think are making it even more popular. What's great, and I want to really emphasize the use of apps for the audience. One of the fundamental tips that we'd like to give is when you have someone come in shopping for a car, oftentimes we used to staple our business card on the brochure and send them on the way. What I'd like to reference is a modern-day version of that, and that's to ask them, hey, do you mind if I go ahead and download our dealership's application on your smartphone so that whenever we have any updates, you can check for specials and things of that nature. They've got that right there in the palm of their hands. And definitely at delivery, we want to make sure that we present the opportunity to download our mobile apps so that they can schedule service or call for a tow truck or anything of that nature should they need help down the line. So great question and great answer. Now, the next area is I think we need to be more social. And we hear this all the time. Everybody says, oh, but social doesn't really sell me cars. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not going to make that much difference whether we're social or not. So I want to talk to salespeople at this point. I'm not really worried about the dealership and their social dynamics. I really want to focus on salespeople who have been in the business for a long time and the fact that the trend is the graying of the internet. And if you think about that in this terms, I've got a lot of white hair myself. At my age, people who are flocking onto the internet to meet with old classmates and to be able to learn from each other what they're up to. What we're recommending for dealerships is just an idea that was presented to me by the Home Automotive Center. They have some veteran salespeople who didn't necessarily like social media, didn't want to get involved in it, but they created Facebook pages for these old dogs, if you will, and it was able to teach them new tricks. So a salesperson didn't even have to manage their Facebook page. The dealership managed it for them, and what they were able to find was a lot of their customers were connecting with them, and they ended up selling cars online to these people that they had already sold vehicles to, but they loved the fact that they were being socially interactive, and it made a big difference for them going forward. So Facebook can be helpful. You know, whatever your design is for your dealership is great, and I'm not really talking about that, but I think the trend will be more towards dealerships assisting their sales team to influence a broader audience going forward. The other thing I'd like to talk about is a concept of more Twitter hawking. A lot of people are familiar with the technology Twitter Hawk that allows you to really find people in your market that are talking about your products and services. So someone puts a tweet out and says, shopping for a car today, any good recommendations? So if that's in your market, you can join the conversation with them and swoop down just like a hawk and sometimes pull that sweet little tweeter right into your showroom through some more progressive marketing. So I would encourage you to consider doing that. It's part of a really progressive plan for active salespeople on the internet. And once again, whether the dealership chooses to do it or not, I think it's a great idea for salespeople to try to leverage that to their best advantage. Additionally, I would love to see more inventory on YouTube. I put up on the screen one of our clients that we work with, the Tampa Harley Group, and so far they've only gotten 4,817,561 views of their inventory on their YouTube page. So
was that all?
They also have 1,366 subscribers, so whenever they post a new video, those people are alerted to it. So just for the example here, I wanted to show that a product that went up one day ago already had 23 views, and a vehicle that had been up there for 2 years had 91,000 views. They're now starting to have inbound marketing leads coming from all over the country and outside of the country looking for their products and services. So it's great to have our website, and we know that, right, Ileana? We want to make sure that we've got a great website, But if we can leverage the free inventory availability on YouTube, that certainly just creates a much more active environment for the customers. Now, speaking of inbound marketing, and a lot of people aren't really sure what that term means, and I got to admit, I was one of the first ones that was very confused. What's inbound marketing? Isn't that, what we do all the time? And to a large degree, I've learned most of it by great companies like HubSpot, and they use inbound marketing on me nearly every week. And a great example of that would be in a case such as this. They offered a free ebook, How to Attract Customers with Twitter. And all I had to do was to fill out this form over here, and as soon as I fill out that form, what do I become? A prospect to HubSpot. And it allows them to offer me something of value so that we then in turn are willing to give our information and then accept the fact that they're going to market to us. So you've got to give them something of value, and then lo and behold, customers will kindly provide that to you. And it's not I'm going to buy a car today type information, but in this case, Limbaugh Toyota uses a great idea. Get your free ebook, and it's tips on buying green. So all they have to do is to click there, and then they fill out their email address, and lo and behold, now the dealership is in a position where they can market to them. But they've developed something of value, and this is a consumer that probably is debating, do I want to buy a hybrid or something to that effect, and they give them really great information. And so much of this information is part of your manufacturer's book of info that all you have to do is literally copy, paste, and repurpose it into a nice little ebook. Another example of the same thing is done by Greenway Dodge, where they created an ebook, and it's designed with 4 steps to getting the most for your trade-in. And with about 70% of our customers online having a trade-in, we want to make sure that they understand that we're on their side. We want to help them out. So like Limbaugh says, tips for buying green. Greenway says, here's how to get the most for your trade-in. By allowing that customer to casually download information and then provide their information to you, it's just a real nuanced way of letting that customer know that you're not just all about selling the car today. And it's a great inbound marketing tool, and I certainly would encourage others to try that out. Now back to YouTube, there's a lot to be gained from video education. So if you think in terms of search engines, Google is number 1, the Google-owned YouTube is number 2, and then followed distantly from Yahoo and Bing. So YouTube provides a great inbound marketing opportunity, and just for the fun of it, I typed in how to buy a car, and as you can tell just by the companies that are on the screen, you don't have a lot of competition in that environment. And yet look at the views on this. One fellow has 44,000 views, another has 30,000 views, 13,000, 47,000. All by spending just a few minutes, and look at the backgrounds on these videos. These are not people who are doing mass production, great quality. They're just getting on the screen and they're giving their view. This was the home page or the front page. Imagine what a dealership could do with a quality video and giving really great information to them. So just a really clever way to educate and motivate a customer. And then, of course, you provide your information at the back of that. They call you, they email you, there are even form availability that you can do. Similarly, I typed in how to refinance a car loan, and very few places came up, and I thought this fellow was pretty clever. And he's the host, Bobby Lee, the host of 2 Minute Finance. So nobody minds watching a 2-minute video. But that would be a good theme for a lot of us to do when we wanted to go onto YouTube and provide great information to customers who are shopping for a car. This would be a really, really wonderful way for you to really increase your presence and to, in a kind and gentle way, if you will, inspire customers to trust you and regard you as the valuable source for great information on purchasing. Now, that brings us to our next poll. So, Eliana, if you would take over now, please.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, everyone. we have another poll question for you. So let's get involved. Turn to your screen and let's see if you can answer this question for us. So does your dealership utilize ebooks or educational videos to drive inbound leads? It's a yes or no question, so please just select one of those following answers, either yes or no. Once we get a majority of the votes, we're going to close the poll and share the results. I got to say, my audience is on fire today. They are voting fast. I love it. Thank you, everyone, so much for getting involved. We, of course, really appreciate your involvement and your input. And I'm going to close this poll right now and share the results because almost everyone's voted. So thanks so much. Oh, votes are still coming in. Sorry. All right, let's close it now and share the results. Okay, so David, 73% of today's audience said no, they're not utilizing ebooks or educational videos at this time. But 27% of today's audience said they are using them to drive inbound leads. 27%. Actually, I got to say, that's higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I believe that's quite high, and I think it just shows that there's a lot of opportunity. And the good thing about search engines is it's to a large degree localized, so you can become an expert in your own market and keep branding yourself that way. So please keep that in mind. I think that's a really, really good opportunity for you. Now, let's talk about more millennials. All of us would love to have more future buyers, and it used to always crack me up. People would say, oh, it's just kids playing on the internet. Well, guess what? The kids are here. The ones who are playing on the internet that had grandma and grandpa or their mom and dad standing behind them saying, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Give me the price. Give me the trade value. Tell me what the financing would be. Well, those kids now are to the age where they want to buy cars and they want to participate in the job market. So what we've got to understand is for millennials, the internet is their showroom. That's how they shop. That's how they socialize. That's how they keep up with each other. And it's quite impressive to sit with one. And we have a couple of interns from the University of Kentucky to work with us. And quite frankly, I am stunned by how dexterous they are on the internet and how easy it is for them to navigate and to get things done. They use Google like it's their best friend and are able to find anything. And what I've learned from them is most of the things they look for have the word free attached to them. So it's a very, very democratic process to where anybody can win on the internet, and millennials certainly have arrived. They've got good educations. They're moving into a good job market, and we need to make sure that we pay real close attention to them. So I've got a friend who is a very learned person when it comes to millennials, and she did a presentation for us at our recent client workshop, and she has a blog called How to Market to Me. And she's 22 years old, or 24 years old. She's fresh out of college working with HubSpot in their PR department, and she said that one of the big things that millennials type into Google is how to buy your first car. So her suggestion was, what should we do? Well, let's create us an ebook, Buying Your First Car, Everything You Need to Know. And of course, you put your dealer logo on there. You tell them how customers should shop for a car, and lo and behold, it becomes a good inbound marketing opportunity. And that's a good outbound marketing opportunity as well. When you go to your database, that's a good thing for a parent to pass on to a child when they're getting into the market, or someone who's fresh into it. So there's a lot that we can repurpose in this environment. Now, there's other things that we can do, and that's hire millennials for riders. A lot of us are just now getting into blogging, but we try to blog ourselves. So I'm north of 50, and at 52, it's hard for me to write like a kid. I see some of the things that my 24-year-old and 22-year-old write, and I think, oh my gosh, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but they claim that their own generation understands it completely. So we are really, really encouraging to bring in high school students, college students to become writers for you and to keep your blog active so you can reach all generations. You can have different age writers for different blog postings and things of that nature, but it's quite impressive to be able to leverage that to your advantage. And of course, recruiting a new generation, and this is a strategy that we're recommending for our clients. And if you think about in a dealership, not everything we do is sell. I mean, if you go back to when I first started working, everything was the ABCs, always be closing, or ABS, always be selling. Well, we do understand the truth of the matter is most of what we do is digital marketing, internet communications, and social media. So when we go to job fairs now and with our clients, we're writing ads for them, we don't talk about the car business as much as we talk about what they're going to do in the car business, which is digital marketing, internet communications, and social media. Makes the job sound a lot cooler, and certainly it allows us to offer different opportunities. We can have marketing specialists, event coordinators. There's a lot more that comes into the mix, and the beauty of it is once they get involved with your dealership and they realize, wow, that reputation that they have as being a bad place to work, that's crazy. These are good people taking good care of their customers, and I wouldn't mind progressing my career within this. So we invite them in on the platform that's described on the screen, and then we grow them through our organization to be full-time productive employees long-term for us in either these roles or other roles that they find themselves being drawn to through their career. So I would like to throw up another quick poll. I'd like to keep the audience engaged if we can, Eliana. I'd like to just throw out a quick question for them about the millennials.
I think that's a great idea. So, audience, if you could please look at your screen, get to your keyboards, and let us know, has the internet changed the way you recruit at your dealership? It's a yes or no answer. So has it done anything for you? Has the internet changed the way you recruit at your dealership? And real quick, because the votes are still coming in, and of course we always thank our audience for voting, we have one of our audience members, Helene, wrote in, and she said, a millennial writer, that's what my boss did when he hired me. So I wrote to her and I said, are you still doing it? She said, yep. So we have at least one millennial writer on our webinar today. We're very pleased that she's here.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, well, guess what? Almost, we still have a few more votes coming in. Almost everyone's voted. Very, very excited to share this result. You ready? So let's close this poll and share the results. David, 92% of today's audience said yes, the internet has changed the way they recruit at their dealership. Only 8% of today's audience said no, not really. What do you think?
Well, not a surprise to either of us, and certainly I want to add one more tip to the recruiting process, and this is something that we've used quite heavily in our own business. A lot of times we look at the resumes when they come over, the applications, and I want to give some sad information here.
Sad information?
There was a poll done recently. It's really sad. I hate to say this. The average recruiter looks at a resume for 6 seconds. Okay?
What?
So you can imagine how little appeal you're going to have when you're just blindly providing information. So what we're asking our candidates out there is to provide us a video resume, something in the 5 to 7 minute range, to where it allows us to see them as a human being. They get to bring their resume to life. A lot of them are multimedia. There'll be some music. They'll use PowerPoints. They'll use all kinds of interesting graphics. And what it does for us is it saves us the time of actually sitting there and interviewing people for hours on end, when we can ask them to send over as a first activity after we get the resume, send me your video resume. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't know how to upload a video to YouTube or to Vimeo, or I don't know any of that. And of course the correct answer back to us, or from us, is, well, darn, if you don't know how to use those technical things, we probably don't have an opening for you. So it's a wonderful filtering tool. If you haven't done a video resume, I would recommend you give it a try. And when you are recruiting, a great way to save time is to just ask someone to submit their video resume and see how clever and creative they actually can be. Now, moving into your spectrum here, I want to make sure that we touch on more simple websites. So I don't know about you all, but when I go to a website, I'd rather it be more like Google. And so when you go to Google, you really don't have to think. And when you get to a lot of websites, there's so much clutter, so much confusion that it makes it really, really difficult. So if you look at the screen, and you can see that, of course, Google is really clear, but Yahoo's got this picture of the cute Obama photo becomes an instant hit. Well, I was going to search for something on Yahoo, but now I've got to read this article about President Obama, and now I'm distracted. So through great intentions, I wanted to do something, but now I forgot what I'm going to do. Your customer's the same way. And when you go to your website, if it looks like a carnival at the fairgrounds, you're in a position to where that customer is now having to make multiple decisions before they get where you want to be. So a nice, clean, simple website look, similar to this one that's a wonderful DealerOn product. I love the look of this particular one. And the customer can get right to inventory. They can read about the sale that they've got going on, schedule a test drive, get pre-approved, or search pre-owned. So the clean and easy websites are really what's driving great conversion rates. And when you look at the statistics that Eliana put up on the screen at the beginning, that's how DealerOn is able to really secure great presentation for the customer and to drive conversion rates to leading levels. So keep that in mind. If you go to your website, and if you look at this one, I'm just going to take a count. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 links or 11 choices, all really simple for the customer. Most dealerships have north of 40 clickable links on their home page. Very confusing to the people who keep up the website, and very confusing for the users of the website. So a good, simple website would be one of the things I'd like to have you focus on in 2013 to improve your conversion rate on your own site. Now, this is kind of a step into the future, and it's something that I learned in what I see going around in our own marketplace. So my home happens to be near the University of Kentucky, and the grocery store, we have the Kroger branded grocery stores in our market, and when I go into the store, you've got a line over at the self-service, and then you have 5 cash registers. Normally there's nobody at the cash register, so you could check out and get full service with no wait, or like the students in school, they're self-serving them. They're doing their own grocery shopping, and they're doing their own checkout because they feel as though they've got more control. So what we're recommending is for dealerships to take a website and start working on creating an environment where the customer can literally make their own deal. We're starting to see that with a couple of tools that are out in the marketplace, but these are ideas that can easily be woven into your website. I certainly would encourage DealerOn to keep with what they're doing. I know they've looked at some ideas along this line, but imagine an opportunity for the customer who wants to self-serve to make their own deal in a simple presentation that basically could say 1, 2, 3, tell us what you want, tell us what you want to pay, and tell us when you want to pick it up. And at that point, we'll arrange everything online and schedule a visit to pick up your new car. Now, a lot of people would sit there and say, oh, you know, the customers really don't want to buy the car online. Well, they do want to buy the car online. They just don't want to pick it up online because it's physically impossible. But what they've shown is a high propensity to not need the test drive before they pick up the car, as evidenced by eBay, which will sell 60 cars in the 60 minutes that it takes to do this webcast. So if you can imagine the ability for customers to purchase cars that are shipped hundreds and thousands of miles from their home and trust that, I think it's time for us as dealerships to consider having some level of self-service for our customers on the website. Will this be 1% of our business, 5%, 10%? I really don't care. I just want to put myself in a position to where I'm allowing this customer if they want to self-serve to move on down that pipeline. So that brings up our next poll question. So Ileana, if you'd be so kind.
Absolutely, David. All right, everyone out there in webinar land, we have another poll question for you. So the question is, do you think customers would use self-service options on a dealership website? And this, of course, is particularly interesting to me. I want to know, what do you think? Select just one of the following answers. It's either yes or no. Do you think customers would use self-service options on a dealership website? Once we get a majority of the votes in, we'll close the poll and share the results. I did have a question for you, David. When you said, you know, which car do you want, how much do you want to pay for it, and when do you want to pick it up, how can you seriously ask somebody how much they want to pay for it? If somebody asked me that, I'd be like, $57. How did you give them like a multiple choice?
Well, I think what you do is you give them access to the tools to make a credible decision, because as we all know, whoever's listening on this call understands that the customer probably is pretty dialed in when it comes to the value of the car. And what we're finding is consumers will, on the odd occasion, will actually put a ridiculous number in there, but it still becomes a lead and it still becomes an opportunity for us to earn credibility. So it's a wonderful conversion tool, but at the same time, for those who are really serious about it, it allows them to use their knowledge to their best advantage.
Well, before we start talking some more about that, let me close this poll and share the results. From today's audience, 90% of today's audience said they do think customers would use self-service options on a dealership website. We still have 10% who said no, and one of our attendees said, but will the dinosaur management allow it? Well, that's another question, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the dinosaur management will allow it when the guy across the street is successful with it. So I think that's the thing, is we've got to get brave people out there engaging in it and trying to. I have to be honest, Ileana, I don't know about you, but I'm impressed with that 90%. I think we're working with a very progressive group out there, and I'm thrilled to hear that they feel that. So
my peoples
you
are
want to
smart.
pass that on to your team up there.
My peoples are smart, and I should also point out too, I think that there was a polar shift. I mean, internet changed everything. When, you know, there were dealerships out there who didn't think that a website would help them at all. They're like, no, let's just keep putting ads in the newspaper, you know. So that shift finally took over, and now people are seeing, yes, being on the web is the place to be. So I think maybe one day we'll see too that people do want to sell, you know, buy cars online without any hassle. Just click, point, here's my money. When can I pick it up?
Absolutely. Great. Well, please pass that on to Ollie and Amir. We need to get these websites going. All right. So I want to talk about virtual appointments. So in a lot of cases, I know that when I was selling cars at the dealership, I needed my manager to help me quite a bit. And oftentimes they were willing to come in and take a turnover, which is something that's quite common in our industry, which is basically, you know, do you want to talk to the manager? And what we're really trying to recommend is for people who work in this virtual environment, whether they're on lunch break and customers who are shopping from home, to create more virtual appointments to where if the customer says, you're too far away, I don't agree with your value for my trade-in, I'm not sure about the selection, tell me more about the car, let's go over this car fax report, you know, the history, tell me about the specifications. What we're really enjoying is some of the progressive clients that we work with are leveraging screen share technology to where literally they can say, at 2 o'clock, would you be okay to get online with my manager, and they're going to talk you through the pricing, we're going to evaluate your trade-in, and now I can bring my manager into the equation, or as a salesperson, I can leverage this virtual technology to create a unique and really different environment for the online shopper. Additionally, skipping to another topic, I want to talk about the fact that we need to have better reputations online. And I'm all for you know, the gaming of the system, if you will, and I want to talk very candid about trying to recruit great reviews. But I think there's an issue when we start trying to game something. We really don't improve. We improve in gaming the system, but we might not improve in actually moving the needle up on our reputation. So I love what I've got up on the screen in front of you. The Belize Auto Group, Mike Belize has an appeal on the homepage of their group website that says, hey folks, we do a lot of things right at Belize, but we're not perfect. Always looking for ways to improve. Tell me how we're doing, good or bad. Tell me what you think. So before the customer goes to Google, before they go to Yelp, before they start criticizing you on DealerOn, now you've got an opportunity to put your name out there, put your reputation on the line, and really sincerely show the customer that you do care about it. What we found with dealerships that have been brave enough to create this kind of environment is it's almost immediate to see improvement in their processes. So there is a lag time when you see a review go up on Google. There is a lag time when a review goes up on Yelp. But when they email the owner, when they fill out a form and it goes to the owner gets the email, walks out, changes processes immediately, and causes improvement right away. No gaming of the system when the boss is involved, and I would encourage general managers, dealer principals alike to leverage this. What's even better about it is it's a wonderful lead generation tool because we know customers that are brave enough to say what was frustrating to them are also willing to listen to us, and it's turned into a tremendous lead generation tool for dealerships on their website. So please keep that in mind. Now, I want to talk about a trend that we're seeing move across the industry, and this is instant reputation. So one of my favorite T-shirt places, when we get our name put on T-shirts, we love to go to a company called Custom Ink. And one of the best things about Custom Ink is right there on their homepage, you can see that 3 minutes ago someone said, the experience was really good. Rush shipping was a bit pricey, but hey, that's what we get. So they said their overall experience was great, and would they order again? Yes. So then it measures everything right there on the homepage, and it allows them to, as a shopper, to see what the experience was of the last 1,000 customers. So when 54% are saying wow and 39% are saying great, I'm not really concerned about this operation. So we're starting to see instant reputation monitors go up in a lot of businesses, and I think dealerships that are brave, that are really true to themselves and are willing to put it out there for the customer, I think this is one of those things that we'll start seeing more and more as we go forward. So I know that a lot of people are saying, oh my God, there's no way I would do that, but you'd be surprised at how effective it is at driving the consumers to want to go ahead and convert on your website. So
and
please keep that in
David,
mind.
yeah, David, I want to let you know, our millennial writer, Helene, she wrote back in and she said, I actually just implemented a sales and service reviews and feedback program at our dealership. It just launched, and I'm really hoping it works out. And Helene, so are we. So good luck with that.
Excellent. Well, tell us that website, Helene, and we'll come check it out. We'd love to see that. The last and closing thing that I really want to hit on is more salesperson marketing. So I was at a dealership group in Nova Scotia last week, and the dealer principal said, our internet operation is going great. Our business development center is working wonderful. Everything is going great except our salespeople are not working. Unfortunately, we need more salesperson marketing. So I know when I was hired, I was told that I was going to be selling cars for my job. Well, the truth of the matter is I sold cars, but I also learned that I had to be a marketer. The truth of the matter is only about 10% of the time do we really get to spend selling. About 90% of the time we need to focus on marketing. And when you think in terms of marketing, this is how we can leverage Twitter and YouTube to our advantage. I know that we used to clip out articles out of newspapers back in the mid-'80s, and we would mail them to customers, and then we'd get feedback maybe a week or two later that they would say, wow, that was really kind of you to send me that picture of Ford's new truck that's coming out, or the Explorer. So nowadays, when you follow your manufacturer on Twitter, you're in a position to where every day your manufacturer is posting some new information on YouTube. They're posting videos, so we follow our manufacturer on those two platforms. Anytime we want to, we can go in there and get some really, really great information that then we could send over to our customer via email, even in a text message, and market ourselves. So what we'd love to see is more salesperson marketing. Imagine the gains that could come if we got every salesperson on the floor to effectively utilize social media and do their own marketing on a regular basis throughout the year. Businesses would really, really grow, and we'd see record sales. So please keep that in mind. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Eliana, and we'll ask our prize-winning question.
Oh my gosh, is it already that time? Ooh, I love doing this. I channel my inner Monty Hall, and I give away a great prize, and today is no exception. Okay, everyone, let me click a couple things over here so I have plenty of room over here to get ready. Okay, so as I mentioned at the very beginning of the webinar today, Kain Automotive is giving away a great prize to one lucky attendee. One of you will win a 3-month membership to the Kain Automotive online training classroom, and the classroom is going to launch mid-January, so just in another couple weeks, and it's going to have a huge selection of fundamental and advanced strategies and tactics for improving your internet and BDC operations, something we can all use. So all you have to do is answer a simple question about something that David talked about earlier in his presentation, and the first one to write in the correct answer is going to be winning this great prize today. So get in front of your keyboards, get ready, I'm about to ask you the question. Okay, and I'll give you a heads up, it's a 2-part answer. We're looking for 2 answers, okay? So here's the question, and good luck. Name the 2 e-book topics covered by Limbaugh Toyota and Greenway Dodge that David talked about earlier in today's presentation. Name the 2 e-book topics covered by Limbaugh Toyota and Greenway Dodge from earlier in the presentation. Let me see if anyone got it. Oh, Darren, you were so close. Oh, I think we do. Wait, is that how to, we do how to buy your first car. Let me see who's winning this. It's hard because I want to make sure I get the right one. Okay, I think we have a winner. I think we do have a winner. Our winner, believe it or not, is Helene. Helene, our millennial writer, is our winner. She wrote in, get more for your trade-in and buying green. That is correct. Limbaugh wrote about a guide to buying green, and Greenway wrote 4 steps to getting the most for your trade-in. Helene, congratulations on winning this fabulous prize. We're very happy for you. And thank you, everyone, for playing along. We had a lot of people write in, and some people were really, really, really close. They just didn't get it quite right. And Helene was the first one who had the entire correct answer. So I do want to thank everyone for playing. Helene, if you could let us know what dealership you're from so we can, she already wrote in and said thanks. She's looking forward to it. And that was really, really fun. Oh my gosh, that's our last giveaway of 2012. I'm a little bit sad, I have to say. Okay, but...
Well, good for Helene. Congratulations.
Gosh, we had so many people writing, and they really wanted this. Okay, she's at Haas Auto Mall in Ravenna, Ohio. So thank you so much, Helene, and congratulations. And thank you, everyone else, for playing along as well. Don't worry, 2013 is going to be here soon enough. We'll have plenty of prizes and surprises at our webinars in 2013. So do not despair. And like I said, that Kain Automotive online training classroom is going to launch mid-January, so you definitely want to go and check that out when that happens. I assume, David, you're going to let everyone know exactly when it's going to come out, right?
Oh, yeah, we definitely will.
That's what I thought. Okay, our first, are you ready for questions now, David?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, our first question comes from Allison. She says, do you think inventory should be on Facebook? I know earlier you had talked about putting your inventory on YouTube and how successful it is for a lot of dealerships to do that. So the question has always been, do you think inventory should be also on Facebook? What do you think, David?
I think your inventory should be wherever customers are. So do I want it prominent? Do I want to keep seeing posts that you updated inventory? No, absolutely not. But if I do like your website, or if I do like your dealership and I do want to research more information on it, I would love to have an access link to the inventory. But yes, please spare me that I just uploaded a piece of inventory. We see a lot of clients that will upload multiple files, and then it shows up as 20 or 30 in their timeline, and I think that's detrimental. But I definitely do encourage having a link out into the inventory so that it's easy for the consumer to click there if they want to. Great question.
Thank you very much. And Allison, I hope that helps you out. And David, come on, you got to put it on your cute little thing with the mugshot on it. Let people see your pretty face. And Reginald just wrote in, he said, my internet manager utilizes this to promote new sales and new models. So there you go. Thank you very much for that, Reginald. We had Ricky. Ricky wrote in earlier and said, how can we get more information on ebooks? David, is there some place where, I mean, I know earlier you mentioned HubSpot, which is a fantastic resource. Is there others that you think of?
Well, in fact, HubSpot has a ebook template that you can download for free. So I think that's probably a logical place to go. But nothing more complicated truly than going to Google and looking for different ebooks. To be quite honest, an ebook can be as simple as 3 or 4 pages of information. You don't have to be a novelist to create good, valuable ebooks, and people love pictures. So that's a good place to go. Another good source of information would be the Active Engage blog. And Active Engage is a chat provider, and they've got a really active social engagement team, and they have created some ideas on how to create ebooks. So Active Engage, and that's with one E in the middle, would be a good place to go. So great question.
I agree. Great question. Thank you very much for that, Ricky. Our next question comes to us from Andrew. Andrew, so nice to see you back here on the show. He says, what are some of the vendors that do the instant reputation?
Well, that's a great question, and I can be quite honest, I don't have an answer for that because we don't see any in our industry. So Andrew, what I would recommend you do is to go to that Custom Ink website, do a right-hand click, and see if you can find out the information on the company that is providing that level of technology. But that's the primary one that I like to see. We also are seeing in showrooms and businesses, a lot of dealerships, or not a lot of dealerships, but a lot of businesses are having big screen TVs up in their checkout area that allows customers to actually put their reputation opinions right up there on the screen. It's a great way to keep their cashiers mindful of providing the very, very best service. So there's the website way that is leveraged by customink.com, and then there's also the way to do it in your own showroom if you decided you wanted to go that route.
Yeah, I want to also point out, just, shameless plug on my part, of course, that DealerOn shows reviews on inventory pages that are pulled directly from DealerRater. Of course, only the positive ones, but those are also really great to incorporate as well. So just want to throw that out there, just in case anyone's interested. Okay, another question from our good friend of the show, AJ. AJ, what's up? He says, along the lines of keeping it simple, should we attach a how-to or coaching page for the Make Your Own Deal section?
I think so, and how oftentimes, AJ, and I love where you're going with this question, we think as website builders we design something that is so intuitive, and then we start trying to click through it ourselves, and we have a tough time doing it. I really was humbled recently. I use a a service called UI, YOUEYE.com, YOUEYE.com. And what they will do is they'll review your website, and they hire people who will click through, and you give them a series of tasks to do, and you find out how poorly designed your website is, as I did, and it was very humbling as someone who's always got an opinion on websites to find out what these reviewers thought of my own site. So I've made a lot of changes. We've got a new platform coming forward in January, but I think you're right, AJ. I think we need to have a how-to, a real simple availability thing, some sort of a video. A lot of websites provide that video navigation that allows them to see someone else doing it, but definitely make it simple for them to be able to navigate and get through it.
And AJ wrote in, what's that name again for the website review?
Okay, it's YOUEYE, UI. UI.com.
UI.com. I'm just going to send this out to everyone on here so that they all have it.
Right.
And then I know that, is that different from Website Grader?
Much different. These
different.
are actually people that will record a video as they navigate through a series of tasks that you design. So, for example, if you launch a new inventory page, you could say, your task today is to go to our home page, click the new inventory link, and now tell me what you think of our new landing page or our new details page. What button would you click for the best price? What button would you click for get your trade valued? And they will go through that exercise right there on the screen, and it's so telling to do it. If you don't have a stiff drink next to you, it might not be a good idea to start it.
Okay. I'm very curious to see how that turns out. AJ, you got to let us know how it turns out for you, okay? All right. You know what? I don't know if it's a question so much, but Reginald wrote in, and he said, my internet manager recommends an accessible YouTube video to instruct people visually as well as verbally. What do you think? And AJ wrote in he likes a stiff drink, so.
Well, so definitely I agree with the idea of the video, because I don't know about you all, but when I would walk through any store, when I see video, my eyes are just riveted. A restaurant that my wife and I go to, we take turns sitting on the side that sees the TV because it's so distracting. Video versus just written words is so much more compelling, and if you make them short and meaningful and relevant to the consumer, I believe they'll click on that a lot. And you need to let them know this will only take 30 seconds or 60 seconds, because otherwise the click rate of video is really low.
You know, it's funny. I remember reading an article that said it's one thing if you put something in text. If you took that same text and put it into video, it automatically becomes more believable, because people think, well, you took the time to make a video, so it's like 80% more believable and more likely to be seen, of course, than just putting it into text. Just because they think, well, you took the time to do it, so then you must really believe it because you made a video out of it.
Right.
So I just
you must have read that on the internet, because anything that's on the internet is true. So
absolutely, everything on the internet is true. Come on. Well, David, you have been an absolute pleasure, as you were the last time, and I'm going to once again beg you to come back sometime in 2013 for a webinar or 6, because we just love you over here at DealerOn, and we think you do such a great job, and we want to wish you continued success in all that you do over there at Kain Automotive, and we're looking forward to seeing the launch of the online training classroom. I can't wait to get my invitation to go check it out.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Eliana, and as you can imagine, we love working with you guys. You've got an excellent team. Your platform is really strong. Our clients that utilize DealerOn are getting exceptional success, and you mentioned earlier you're experts on search, and we would have to conclude that is really part of your secret sauce. So please keep up the great work in 2013. We're a big fan.
Thank you, David. Thank you, thank you. So everyone out there, this isn't the last time you're going to see David on one of my webinars, right, David?
That's right.
We're going to get him back here just as soon as we can, all right? So thank you so much, David. That was an absolutely fantastic presentation. We're going to end this thing right on time. We're coming up to the top of the hour. So any questions that weren't answered during the time allotted are going to be answered by email later today. And I want to remind the audience that we recorded this thing. So a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is also going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. And please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And we are also going to post it online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DealerOn.com/webinars. And from there, you can view our upcoming webinar schedule and access any of our past webinars too. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, in just a few minutes, you're going to receive a short survey. So please fill it out because we're always looking for great feedback from you. And we're going to randomly select some winners from all the completed surveys to also win some Google swag. And yes, we will not be here next week due to the holiday, but invitations will be going out a week from Friday for our next webinar on January 3rd. 7 phone skills guaranteed to make you moolah, with President of Phone Ninjas, Jerry Tebow. The original phone ninja himself is going to share the 7 phone skills that he teaches to dealerships all over the country that have proven to make a swift and dramatic difference in their sales. You can't afford to miss this one. If you see the phone as an essential sales tool, well then I guess we'll see you all in our next webinar on January 3rd. This will be another can't miss presentation by your friends at DealerOn. And before I sign off for the last time in 2012, I want to thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today. And on behalf of the entire staff at DealerOn and Kain Automotive, I want to wish you all and your loved ones a warm and loving holiday season and a very safe, healthy, joyous, and of course, successful new year. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks so much.